data. So again, that doesn't include the 504 plans. As all of us who have been classroom teachers understand, and I'm sure there are several of us in here, accommodating learning needs of our students is no easy task. However, ensuring that adequate accommodations are made with large class sizes can be taxing for the teacher as well as for the students in any classroom. Apart from ensuring that students are assigned to classes to maximize inclusion and accommodate students' free, appropriate education, how will the district ensure that teachers' class sizes and caseloads are not unmanageable or are legally questionable? I want to quote verbatim from a research study that was conducted by a team of education policy and special education professors at the University of Illinois Chicago just last year on how school closures affect special education. They specifically addressed the ways that extra classrooms in schools that can provide essential space for meeting students' learning needs, like the extra classrooms at Thomas Paine, for example, how they often are treated as wasted, what they call wasted space in districts' assessments of building utilization. So they say this: arrangements for providing special education services in schools in the U.S. are problematic in many ways. When facilities planning decisions ignore the value of these extra classrooms or render these separate ancillary spaces invisible, they disproportionately affect students with disabilities. Our analysis reveals how building utilization formulae may rationalize and reinforce ableism and disposability in favor of an imagined ideal student that can learn in a classroom with a 30-to-1 student-teacher ratio. Students with disabilities are forced to comply with standards of efficient space usage that do not include them, while simultaneously managing with fewer services because of budget cutbacks. Such contradictory pressures further marginalize students with IEPs and prevent them from benefiting from the opportunities ostensibly provided by their educational experiences. Yet, when students with IEPs fail to thrive in such environments, that failure is attributed to individual characteristics such as their disability or race or gender or a lack of grit, rather than to political economic structures that condition success or failure for particular groups of students. So I want to conclude with just two questions. Is the board and the district planning to ensure that students with disabilities in Wiley and at other elementary schools in the district are not adversely affected by the closure of Wiley and the current building utilization plans? How will this board and the district ensure that students with disabilities are not disposed of, but instead that they and their families are included? I hope that this body will consider these issues seriously and think beyond simple policy or statutory compliance to ensure that the quality of education services provided to all children with disabilities across race and income in this district remains appropriate, is caring, and is as least restrictive as possible. Thanks so much.
Thank you. Next up is Lauren Karpus.
Got the baby making his TV debut tonight, so remember this. I'm here as a member of Wiley Strong, the committee or the group that was formed after the very, very sudden announcement of Wiley's closure. We have some recommendations for the formation of the Mega Facilities Committee that we would like the administration and the board to take into consideration. Number one, the co-chairs should not be employed by the district or members of the school board. Number two, district administrators should make up no more than 15%, that's 15% of the committee, many of whom I was alarmed to learn do not even live in Urbana, are not Urbana taxpayers, and do not send their children to Urbana schools. Number three, Wiley community members should make up the largest portion of the committee. Number four, parents and teachers from all the schools and various programs like SPED and dual language should be included in equal portions. And number five, Urbana community members are also encouraged to apply. And also we ask that members of the Wiley Strong Committee are included on the makeup of the Mega Facilities Committee. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Does anybody else wish to make a statement before the board this evening? Hearing none. There will be a call for an executive session following this meeting for the purpose of property, but there will not be any action taken after the executive session. Student ambassador reports. sorry. Is there a motion to approve tonight's agenda?
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, now it's time for the ambassador's report.
Okay. Hello, board. It's great to be here again. Although I don't have much of a report, I do have something to report. No pun intended. Anyways, it was great to be at the Rising Stars program. A couple of weeks ago, I was able to speak as one of the speakers. And, you know, in the midst of so much negativity, it was very inspiring to see so much positivity regarding our 5th and 8th graders. I was able to talk to a lot of them and a lot of their families, and it was just a great thing to see, especially for our representation of our Urbana community. That's my report.
Sorry. Well, thank you very much, Michael. Our first administrative report tonight is the UHS Food Service Survey Summary. Katie?
Hi, everyone. So the student ambassadors asked us to help facilitate a student survey regarding the lunch experience at the high school. So Lori thankfully put that together along with the administrative team, and we were very happily surprised with the response we received right off the bat. We received over 200 responses on the first day that survey was released. And ultimately we collected 312 responses. So we're going to jointly with the student ambassadors, I'm going to walk you through the results of that survey so you can get a flavor for the kinds of responses that we received. And then I believe that Michael and Parker may have also collected some specific examples that they may want to share at some point throughout this presentation. So just a couple of data points as we get into it. It's not a very long presentation, but the majority of the students that eat school lunch in the cafeteria are underclassmen, which makes sense because upperclassmen are allowed to leave campus for lunch. So you can see 39% are freshmen, 28% are sophomores, 21% are juniors, and 10% are seniors. And then also, I was actually surprised to learn that the majority of students in this survey, well, not the majority, because I guess that would be even more, but the largest percentage of students eat lunch 5 days a week in the cafeteria. So really, we are serving a lot of students that are eating every single day of the week. And then again, the zero makes sense as well, because when you think about those upperclassmen that leave campus, they just leave campus every day. And so that kind of jived with the first slide. So the question at the top is what was asked in the survey, and we did a combination of multiple choice, like check all that apply questions, and then we did open-ended questions. So on the open-ended responses, I just took a smattering of some of the responses, but these were the responses that occurred most frequently. So I didn't just take random responses. These were like the ones that I was seeing over and over and over of those 300 responses, and you'd be very surprised how many people said similar things. And a lot of people filled out the narrative responses. It wasn't just, just people doing the multiple choice ones. It was a lot of narrative responses, and people were very passionate about it. So there was a lot of things about the perceptions that it was unhealthy, which of course it abides by the nutrition standards, but that can mean different things to different people. I just think overall the impression that I got was that it just wasn't very appetizing, and they preferred to not eat the food that was being provided. So I'm not going to read all the responses, but I did put a smattering on the screen. But if Michael or Parker want to address any specific examples related to this question before we move on.
And although I don't personally eat in the lunchroom, I go to the library during my lunch period. It's always been the same responses to the question, how do you like school food? If it's either it's cold or it doesn't taste well, or I can't get it because of the line, or because I don't like the atmosphere of the lunchroom. These responses are very common, and they're not rare at all.
Anything to add, Parker?
Yeah, to add on to that, when I got elected last year and was asked to find any issues within the school, what I would like to change, I asked the student body, and many kids came back with this, that they hated this. I also wanted to say that while it's not up there, I heard a lot of the lines were too long, and they didn't have enough time to get the food then eat it.
Yep. Thank you for adding that. So this is one of the multiple choice. It was just a check all that apply response questions, so people could check any of the responses that they wanted, and then they could add additional responses in narrative form. So how could the lunch experience be improved? We kind of did like a rosebud and thorn, like what do you like, what could be better, and what do you not like? So we tried to do a survey that kind of grabbed a lot of different responses in those different ways. But we did hear a lot that there just weren't enough options, or that the options were very repetitive. A la carte has been closed basically all school year, although I think there was 1 or 2 days that there were some limited options. It was definitely closed all of last school year. But then, you know, just more choices, more hot choices, more cold choices. The salad bar, it has been reopened, but I would call it minimal. And the make your own sandwich bar also is somewhat limited. Here were some of the narrative responses that we saw regularly in response, but some of them were really good, I thought really good suggestions. I mean, just opening up a la carte, selling more snacks, having more gluten-free or vegetarian options, and not just specifically gluten-free or vegetarian options, but more culturally responsive options too, I saw pretty frequently. More fresh fruits and vegetables, more variety. Just over and over and over, please give us more variety. And then, like you said, Parker, shorter lines did come up because, which is really a limitation of, they've just had a lot of staffing issues with the food service contractor, and that's caused a lot of long lines, and I think that is frustrating for students that have fairly short lunch hours. Did you want to add anything to that before we move on?
Well, I know kids, a lot of kids specifically love the salad or the sandwich bar. I know that wasn't really a thing last year, but it is this year, and kids really love it. But like I said earlier, like the line is always very long with that because they have to make each sandwich individually. So
It's a good point. So there are some things that are good, but
I was going to add one that I hear a lot, and I think, Michael, I'm surprised you didn't say this because you have talked to me about this. The microwave
yes.
has come up for multiple years. That is not a new ask, but it is definitely something that even for our students who bring in their lunch, I know we've said no in the past, but because it is such an overwhelming ask, and it was very much represented in a lot of the comments on the survey, is definitely something that we need to think about. I know there's some cleanliness issues and who's going to manage it and who's going to make sure that people are following etiquette around covering their food and all of those things, but it is definitely something that our students have been asking for and continue to ask for.
Yep. So this is another check all that apply question. Tell us about your experience with school lunch. And you can see many of the responses were fairly negative, unfortunately, even though there were some positive responses they could have checked off as well. So if you'd like to go on to the narrative responses for that question, what is something that you would like to see continued or expanded? So this was kind of catering to that, where can we highlight and grow? And you can see there, I thought the mac and cheese bar was pretty good. And there was a lot of people that said that. I couldn't believe there was probably 5, 6, 7, 10 people that said mac and cheese bar. I was like, that sounds cool. So, and then lots of requests for more juice. I mean, they just think this little juice cup's too small, let's just say. I mean, they really want more juice. But I think opening vending would really help address that as well, because basically they're just saying they need more drink options, and if a la carte was open, they could purchase drink options. And I think people would do that. And the fries and tots station, which some of that's been addressed. They were going to buy like a rack for fries. I'm not really sure they're using it. But we did hear the pizza's pretty good. Would you agree?
Yes.
Yeah. Solid? It's all right. Do you have anything to add about what you'd like to see continued or expanded, or the things you hear from other students in the lunchroom?
Definitely the microwave, because I feel that the microwave would definitely help with cold food, because that's an easy fix. And a lot of students have to leave to access a microwave, so I think that would help too with an experience-wise.
yeah, and I know when I used to eat the lunch, I would always get the salad, but it just wasn't enough. It was very small, and I would always be hungry. So
Yeah. Okay, cool. Thanks. And then lastly, we really just wanted to hit home to say, what do you think the most important thing that you want to share about your school lunch experience is, so that we could kind of, rather than the, I don't know, smorgasbord of responses, to really narrow down onto what's really critical here on what our first focus needs to be. And here were 3 of the responses that just really stood out to me, that it has a lot to do with the food itself, but it also had a lot to do with the lunchroom environment as well. So, you know, there was quite a few students that expressed their thankfulness that we provide school lunch to everyone at the school. And so I think that that's something to reflect on as a positive for our district. And quite a few students recognize that that's a great opportunity for all the students in the district. So I highlighted that in the orange comment there. But being able to hang out with friends, and there was a lot of comments about how loud it is in the cafeteria, and some of those things, you know, aren't really related to our food service vendor, and more of an administrative thing that we could address. But I think that's still a valid thing, because if kids don't want to be in the lunchroom, we want them to be there, and we want them to eat the meals that we're providing. So any other things about, what do you guys think is the most important thing about your school lunch experience? Michael, Parker?
I mean, I leave every day, but I'm grateful I can see my friends, I guess.
Like I said, I used to go to the lunchroom last year, but I usually go to the library now because of the environment of the lunchroom. And definitely, I think we have some problems to address, but if they are addressed, I think it could easily be turned around for the better. And thank you so much for your dedication with helping with this survey. And Dr. Ivy Tatum, thank you for meeting with us and getting our ideas for this. It is great to see the support and great to feel it, so thank you.
Yeah, we're always happy to run with your ideas, and if you have other ideas that you'd like us to help you facilitate, we're happy to do that. And, you know, this was information that we wanted to gather too, and, you know, I know, like Parker said, it was important to him and the other students that he talks to, so we wanted to help facilitate that, and I'm really hoping that we can make some positive change with some of the information we collected from you. And thanks for getting it out there. We put QR codes on all the tables. We couldn't believe the responses we got. People really wanted to be heard.
Board members, any questions or comments? All right, thanks, everybody. 8.2 is our administrative report on the Aramark Emergency Food Service Contract Proposal. Again, Katie.
So this will lead right into the next topic. We were approached by Aramark to submit a proposal for a 1-year emergency contract for next school year. Aramark will be a vendor that we've heard of. They were our food service vendor prior to Arbor. So, and we had a long-standing relationship with Aramark. So we welcome them here tonight. We have 3 members of their team. We have Scott Gregory, Amy Wagner, and David Farrell, sorry. And feel free to come up and introduce yourselves, and they're going to give a brief presentation regarding what they're offering to the district. Feel free to introduce yourself further. Scott, thank you so much for joining us.
Well, thank you for having me, Dr. Reedy. How do you think? Thank you for having me. Is this thing pretty sensitive, or? Yeah, there you go. I don't want to be eating it. So my name's Scott Gregory. Thank you for having me. I'm district manager for Aramark. I've been with Aramark for over 20 years. I have never been directly involved with Urbana, but I've known Urbana well. I helped our former director implement some of the alternative breakfast programs throughout the district. I was the food service director in Decatur for over 13 years, and was born and raised right here in Central Illinois and still reside here. But Amy Wagner's our general manager from Decatur. She's been with Aramark over 9 years. And David's just a puppy. He's been with us for a couple years, our chef manager in Decatur, and they're here to support and to bring our little snack goodies and things. But I really just kind of want to give a quick presentation of who we are and what we feel like we're good at, okay? A lot of people know Aramark from the uniform trucks that run around and things like that. Uniforms is our smallest division. We're a huge food company. We serve food all over the world to all kinds of people, from K-12 to higher ed, business dining, If you want to go have fun, we're at sports and entertainment venues. If you go on vacation, we're at parks and destinations. In your workplace at business dining, at the hospital with health care. Heaven forbid anybody go to jail, we're in corrections. But we have a little bit of everything. Some people think that we're a large global corporation and that's how we do business. That's true to a point. But we have a huge investment in Illinois. And as you can tell here, we have about $800 million capital investment. We have almost 38,000 clients. And we are spread all throughout the state. And like I said, we've been here for 20 plus years. I didn't get the exact number, but we can go ahead and move on. In Illinois, we have a lot of sustainable spend. We have over $3 million on third-party certified sustainable products. We spent more than $111 million in this state. This is all fiscal 22 year numbers. We do business with 55 women business entrepreneurs, 52 minority business entrepreneurs, 7 veteran business entrepreneurs. We spent over $21 million with small businesses and over $15 million on locally grown products. So even though we are a large global company, we're a large local company too. We like to believe that we're culinary innovators. Like I said, we serve all gamut of people and where they live and where they work and what they do. This picture on the right-hand side is one of our LTOs. We call them LTOs, limited time offers. Every month we have limited time offer. These are driven by our team of chefs and dietitians. They're obviously school nutrition friendly, and we'll talk about them a little bit more as we go along. So our menu strategy, I've kind of said we're chef and dietitian created menus. We're customer focused created menus. I've said in my business for 20 years, and I don't want anybody here to take me wrong, but everybody sitting around these desks are our clients. And in my 20-year career at Aramark, I've never had to work that hard to please clients because these are our customers. And if you please them, you guys are automatically pleased, right? You know. So we like to have a large menu variety with themed and rotating stations. We like to customize, especially at your secondary levels, our food programs, our food stations, and things like that. So this is kind of what we've done this spring with our LTOs, and I can't see this exactly, but on the top is our limited time offers. We have one a month. Some of them obviously are bigger hits than others, but you know, something that we found through COVID, our children and our students' palates are getting more and more sophisticated all the time. Now, don't get me wrong, chicken nuggets still hard to beat for a school-age child, right? So I have a 21-year-old son. He would not be alive today without chicken nuggets. Because for 12 years, that's all he ate. You know? So we like to have that great mix. And the more variety you have and the more different things you try, the more people you're able to please and attract to your cafeterias, right? So we also like to do monthly special event promotions, which if you've ever Googled this, it's amazing how many days are in one month. You know, National Brown Hair Day or whatever. But there's all kinds of special events monthly. And we like to promote those and go with that too and have fun with our menu. You know, what we'd like to propose, and I'm not going to sit here and read this because I can't hardly read it or see it, but the fact of the matter is we want variety, we want fresh, scratch made where we can, customized stations. I mean, these are things that work in today's school food service, right? And these are things that we pride ourselves on and what we do. We feel like we're culture connectors. I don't mean to put my back to you guys, but I want to see this a little bit better. Let's go ahead and go to the next slide if you don't mind. So we feel like we're culinary innovators. I mean, we are big on student focus groups. It's the students is who you please, and hearing from them and sitting down with them on a timely basis is how you learn about what they want and what they like. I learned a long time ago my palate's not a 10-year-old palate. our 15-year-old palate, right? Limited time, our LTOs, our SEPs we spoke of, daily fresh offerings, seasonal menu options. In the past, being culture connectors, as we were with Urbana, we actually helped Urbana move into CEP when it first come along. Surveys to hear these kids. You don't know what they're really thinking. You got to ask sometimes. I mean, we're big on surveys, and we're big on employee engagement. As I've said, we've had a 20-plus year partnership. We did implement the alternative breakfast programs, and I think we're a pretty big partner from what I remember in the high school renovation project. We like to have communication as I don't mean to be repetitive, but we have newsletters, focus groups, and taste testing, and we have a student's viewpoint survey. Actually, we're working on something called Voice of the Consumer, where some of the things we try on our menu, we can have QR codes, and the kids can take their phones and tell us exactly what they think of it. It's kind of a cool idea. So our client communications, we have regular face-to-face engagement with our clients. We can have school board meetings updates as often as the school board wants them. We have what we call monthly joint reviews with our client. We speak about what's happened this month, where we've been, what we've done, where we're going next month. And then twice a year we have what we call CBRs, a client business review that's a little more in-depth MJR, basically. You know, a big thing in today's day and time is being competitive and having an investment in your talent. We have a robust talent acquisition team and some of the tools and programs and things that we do to attract talent. We have succession plans for internal growth. I mean, we want to grow our people, right? We train well. We have 2 training models, Serve and West, different training models that we implement, food safety and sanitation, merchandising. We like to recognize our people, right? And have developmental planning for our folks. We do have global engagement surveys that we like to hear from our people every year. And we do have several benefits for our employees. So part of our proposal for the school district of Urbana would be to have above minimum wage increase for our hourly staff, right? Hourly wages have been rapidly increasing as we go through COVID. If you're paying minimum wage in Illinois right now, you're not employing very many people because the market is above what the minimum wage is right now in Illinois. So in order to retain talent, to attract talent and have them, I mean, we're just gonna have to pay a little better, right? So if we don't adjust wages now, I mean, you get stuck in the quagmire of not having enough people, to not have long lines, to not have stations open, et cetera, right? Let's go to the next slide. So our commitment is to be proactive in our innovation with our monthly promotions, our student focus driven menus, our menu rotation, our expanded options. We'll have the right team on the ground with local folks, wages at work, and it won't be just me and somebody else or whatever. I mean, you'll have all of Aramark. In our hierarchy, we have the district, which is me, and the district that I manage, our region, and our line of business support. I mean, we have a great support group and a great line of business to partner with. Through our model that we're proposing, still be estimated return where the district will be able to put back into the food program, continue to grow it. Imaginative partners, go right ahead. So some of our customer focus groups, I mean, these are things you just really know. I mean, it's got to taste good, the look and the presentation's got to be right, it's got to be healthy. I mean, all these things these kids have already said, right? I mean, speed of service, the convenience, the personalization of your menu, being able to personalize your own lunch. Go right ahead. And we all eat with our eyes first. I mean, presentation's key. And you don't have to have $1 million kitchen for things to look good and for your meals to look right and your food look good. You can live in a $40,000 house if you keep your yard mowed, have nice flowers, keep it up. It looks like a $100,000 house, right? So merchandising and the visuals are very important. Putting health and wellness first, some of our nutrition programs that we become involved in with our partners that we do on different grade levels and what have you. So that's it. I didn't want to come tonight and take up an hour and a half of your time, but I didn't want to sit here and just flow through this here either. I will say that we are very proud of the partnership that we've had over the years, and would love to be able to rekindle that partnership.
And 28 years, we did some research.
28?
28 years we were with Aramark.
Yeah. So questions? Anybody have any questions?
One quick comment. I really appreciate it. I remember when we had Aramark before and how much you cut down on the waste and disposable, like the plates, the trays, all of that. I remember going to the basket system. Do you remember that, Ann and Paul? You were on with me, and I thought that was great because
Right.
it really saved a lot from going into landfills and things like that. So
Right.
I really appreciated that aspect.
Right. I will say, I'm not going to sit here and say all the food you ate tonight is school nutrition friendly. It's not, but a lot of it is. But the drinks back here are what we call blenderless smoothies, and that's actually makes a reimbursable breakfast. It's a great little item, and we're proud of that one. But I really appreciate everybody's time. I thank you for having me, and we'll be glad to address any questions or anything.
I just have like one quick question for Katie. I mean, could you clarify, I guess, under what situations the district is allowed to enter an emergency contract as opposed to going out for bid?
Yep, so the district is allowed to enter into an emergency contract for up to 1 year, that's the maximum. And we have to have, I believe it's 2/3 of the board's support to approve it. So I mean, we really have to have at least 5 board members vote yes of the 7. So, however, we also did not receive a renewal from Arbor. They also gave us an emergency contract because the rate that they could get with the renewal process was not what they were wanting to receive. So we basically, what I want to do is use next school year. We would have had to bid after next year anyway. And I really want the involvement of the wellness committee to do that process, to do the taste tests with all of the vendors. And there's a new RFP process open to Illinois with a new state law that allows us to not only select based on lowest price vendor. So you could put stipulations in your contract about certain percentages of local foods or whatever, you know, the committee were to come up with. But I really want to leverage that wellness committee communication to have them part of that conversation. So I don't want to rush a bidding process just to get something in place. So I would much rather do a 1-year contract where we can really take our time and do that bidding process properly and with a lot of involvement from all of the stakeholders.
And this will come before us in a vote next meeting, correct?
No, we're going to have another presentation, and then probably the first meeting in May, we'll be able to make a selection.
And any other questions, board members?
Oh, I have a question, but you.
What was the reason we left Aramark before? Was it
Lowest
like
price-
2 years ago?
Lowest price vendor. We did a bid we were
Okay.
required to do, and Arbor won the bid.
So I have a question about, so as you saw in the presentation, one of the things we have been talking with Arbor about a lot this year and last year was the a la carte station. And that is such a huge ask of our students right now. And the reason we've not been able to open the a la carte station, you haven't seen our kitchen, but we have a kind of designated area where we can have snacks, drinks, things like that, that the students really wanted, but it has not happened because of staffing. So tell us a little bit about your staffing. Are you fully staffed? Everybody has kind of been dealing with this issue following the pandemic. Is that an issue
Right.
that's still hitting Aramark or?
Right. I think I'd be remiss to say it's not affected every employer. So, you know, kind of what's happened through COVID is that the USDA has allowed extensions in these emergency contracts, and you know, you've had supply chain issues and so many things that, not to mention the Illinois minimum wage going up, but some of these contracts are aged quite a bit with their meal rates, and considering they weren't built to go through COVID, and $1 an hour each year minimum wage increase. But I think what we're finding is some of our clients that we're working with to get these emergency contracts and be able to raise the wages that we're able to pay people, I think you're seeing a difference. And you have to be competitive in the marketplace. And you know, a school job is a great job for so many different people. Mothers that they can always be home when their kids are home. Retired people that don't want to work 8, 10, 12-hour days. But there's no evenings, no weekends. But there's several places out there that, you know, it's a little different in our business. So if you're another business and the price of your goods goes up so much, you just raise the price of the good that you're selling. I mean, we're under a contracted meal rate. We can't just go raise it, right? So that's something that we're working diligently to do, and I think we're making really good strides at it. You know?
Okay, thank you.
I'm glad you mentioned, Katie, about the Health and Wellness Committee, because one of the things I was wondering about was, would you be able to partner with our Farm to Table kind of program where we're trying to grow local produce and bring it into our schools? Is that something that a partnership could be built out of that with Aramark? I don't know if it's for you or for Katie or both.
Right. I think that we are more than willing to do what we can to foster a relationship with locally grown products. I mean, I think in the whole state, what was it, 15 million or something we spent this year on locally grown products. So we're more than willing to work with something like that.
Yeah, I've been asking a lot of questions about that too. I mean, part of the problem is the local farms actually have to be in the queue with the health department to be able, for us to be able to buy their produce. But it's also an issue of them not having the quantities that we need at the times that we need them. But it's something that I've talked to Aramark about how we would help work more of that in. So that's just been an ongoing conversation, but something I'd really like to see addressed as part of the RFP process.
Well, and this is, I don't know if this is an Aramark question or if it was more to the prior presentation, but I'm really delighted that we got the feedback from our high schoolers. I've been wanting to know what I knew with my own kids what they thought, but I wanted to, get a robust survey. And are we going to do the same thing for our K-8 kids? And especially with Aramark's food and, how things are going throughout the year. I know you guys do your own work on your end, but how does that work with our own surveys in the district to find out that parents and kids are happy with what the food's doing?
Sure. Do you want to answer that one?
Or yeah, we talked about doing middle school, and we were trying to coordinate, having them do a survey is harder, so we thought we were going to go over and just go to a lunch period and put up a QR code and just say, okay, everybody go in and take the survey right now. We didn't have a chance to do that before this presentation, but it's definitely something that we talked about. We haven't really talked about elementary.
Yeah, I'm open to it though,
because,
absolutely.
Yeah, we could, maybe with our 5th graders or 4th or 5th graders or something like that. It's very different at elementary because they don't have the choices that they have at the middle school and high school. They have 4 options, but it is kind of like, these are your 4 choices and that's all you get. You get what you get and you don't throw a fit, and that is kind of what we, yeah. But I think our 4th and 5th graders could probably, we've heard things like they want more options. They see the same things every month because everything is kind of in this menu rotation. So I think that is something we would probably hear from the elementary people.
And the other thing we considered doing as well, which we just didn't have time to do yet, but I'm still interested in, is potentially surveying the staff and asking them what they see in the lunchroom. So, having them help facilitate collecting some of that feedback and getting their perceptions of the lunchroom experience at that elementary level or things like that, where those students, could work through some of the staff members' eyes to get us that information.
Right. Brian.
Yeah, I think maybe this is a question for Katie, but I'm not sure where it goes. But given that we might have the ability to make this decision without, considering price, but not as the only factor if we're doing an emergency contract, is it possible we can get more details from these companies, like a monthly proposed rotation, something so we can see? We see these beautiful pictures, but is this what it's going to look like when we get it into the lunchroom? Or is it going to be still, vegetarians get sun butter and jelly sandwich and there's tater tots and pizza? It would be nice if we saw, and we could really compare from a nutritional standpoint. Because when I hear this survey stuff from the high school and I see the food is nasty, the food is cold, and the lines are long, not a good look for us. So, we have a moment where we can at least try to do the best that we can. It would be nice if we get a little more information than just a, price point.
Is that something that you could share, model menus of Decatur or something like that, so that we could kind of see what a menu rotation might look like in that?
Yeah, I know our team is working on next fall's menus. Do we have a timeline on those? Do you know? I know they're really close. Yeah, I know those are really close. The menu's coming out for this fall. Sure. I don't want to quote a time because I don't remember it right off the top of my head, but we have an OpEx support group, Operation Excellence. We call them OpEx. They support the front line and made up of dietitians and chefs, and so they create our menus, and then they're customizable to regions also, so they're not. I can get you menus.
Sure.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I would love to be able to get some of the fall rotation menus that we're looking at getting completed here soon. That would be neat to see.
Yeah, that's a great idea, Brian. I'll work on that.
Yeah.
Can we send a group to Decatur to check out a Thursday?
Great.
Absolutely.
Any last questions? All right, this is coming, I guess, for further discussion in a couple weeks. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yes, well, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Thank you for the snacks.
Oh, you bet. You bet.
All right, our last administrative report, 8.3 collective bargaining agreement for 2023 to 2026. Angie.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you to our UEA leadership who also just recently joined us. We're really excited to bring forward to you a summary of contract bargaining agreements for the collective bargaining agreements, for the proposed 23 to 26 school year, so a 3-year contract. This was approved by UEA members, and so now we're bringing forward some highlights to the board and asking for approval of our next contract. So we're not going to go through every section because some things are, like, for example, the first one, Article 6, the 604, is not something that everybody might be interested in knowing about dues being withdrawn from checks. So we're just going to highlight the bigger ones, and Katie and I are going to talk. So one of the first ones that I wanted to talk about is 7.05 for substitute teachers. So this is also mirrored in our support staff section of the contract. So in the past, it had been different for secondary and elementary folks on their how they were paid to internal sub. So if we have people out of the building and don't have substitute teachers, we really need our certified and support staff's help if they have a sub license. And before, we had a difference. If you worked at the secondary level, you got paid more money. And we've agreed to recommend the $32 an hour for all teachers, regardless if it's elementary or secondary. Another thing I'd like to draw your attention to is Article 1301, Teacher Day Defined. In order to assist with security and safety, the district will provide a pool of up to 100 supervision stipends of $1,200 a stipend. Each stipend will require 30 minutes of daily supervision. And so we recognize we might not fill all of those 100 stipend positions that are available, but we have sketched out based on school population on how many we would think would be necessary per school. Moving down to 1902, personal leave. And so, again, this contract is really, I would think, a huge emphasis on retention of staff and recruitment of new staff. It's a very strong contract, and the things that we're highlighting is really excited for the Human Resources Department, which ultimately benefits our students. But 1902 is personal leave, so we're decreasing the number of years teachers need to get that additional bump in days. So after 10 years of service in the district, they get 3 personal days. After 15 years, 4 personal days. Moving down, I'm going to turn it over to Katie.
I'm going to highlight section 20.02A, which is the health insurance contribution from the district. So we are excited. For the first time, we will be adding on extra $100 in district contribution for any employees that enroll in a employee plus one or family plan. So helping offset the cost of additional coverage for family members. We will also be committing to an additional $100 to the employee's HSA account for any employees enrolled in the HSA plan. And over the 3-year contract, there is a fixed district contribution to health insurance premiums of $800 in the first year, $850 in the second year, and $900 in the third year. The current contribution is $756 a month, which equates to 88% of the highest tier plan in the current contract. So this is a fixed rate amount, which is different than the previous contract. But we also set a limit of that contribution not to exceed 10% for the employee.
Okay.
I think, is it still my turn?
No.
Oh, sorry.
All right, moving down to 2101, experience credit. This is something that's really exciting that I don't know of any other school district in our area offering. And so many school districts, for example, in the past, if we wanted to hire somebody from across town or another district and they'd been teaching for 20 or 25 years, they would only get experience credit up to 15 years. And so many districts have a cap on that. And what we are moving forward is that if somebody has 20 years experience in somewhere else, we will give them 20 years credit here to come here. So that will be helpful in recruiting new staff.
I'm going to highlight 2102A, the compensation schedule for the licensed staff. So the first thing I want to highlight that's not written on this slide is one of the goals of the contract was to get the base salary for a new teacher to start at $50,000, which this contract achieves that goal. So year one, the increase will be a flat $3,100 increase plus step for all teachers on the salary schedule. The second year is a $2,000 flat increase plus step for all teachers on the salary schedule. And the third year is a repeat of the $2,000 flat increase plus step. Is that all I need to say?
And then also something that we're switching to at 2108 is the payroll installments. And so currently we pay on the 15th and 30th of every month, and we're going to be moving to the biweekly basis, so every other Friday.
Staff's very busy planning that transition. So.
Yes, we are. Moving down to the third page, if you'll take a look at the MOU 3, the District Retirement Program. This is also something that is, I wouldn't say unique, but it's great that Urbana has this, because not all districts do. And we are changing our retirement program to be able to give teachers 5.25% raise per year for up to 4 years if they are letting us know that they're going to retire. This is especially helpful for planning for hard to fill positions. So if you know that you have, in a school there might be one music teacher or one social worker, and if we know that we're going to need that position filled in 3 or 4 years, we're able to talk to student teachers. That's helpful at recruitment fairs. Also looking at the MOUs, the MOU 9 is something new. UEA brought this proposal forward, and it was a great idea. We want to be able to have a committee made up of teachers, UAA members, administrators, and to be able to talk about our behavior management procedures for our schools at each level. And this is a way to be able to problem solve and work collaboratively so that we're keeping our students in class, in schools, and safe as much as we possibly can. So we're excited about that. And then moving into LOU 9, additional license incentives. So something that we have done for many years and that we pride ourselves on is recognizing teachers who achieve national board status. And in addition to that, we would like to be able to recognize our staff members who serve in the student services realm, so a lot of special education certified staff, and that they will also be recognized with different certifications that they achieve so that their work does not go unnoticed. LOU 11, retention and recruitment. Again, it was a major focus to say retention first. And so we are allocating up to $50,000 a year for stipends for hard to retain and recruit positions. And so that's just a one-sentence summary, but the language is that we'll form a joint committee of UEA members and then also administrators to determine annually which positions are hard to fill. And that people, as a incentive, if people, like for example, if dual language is hard to fill one year, that people that are currently in those positions would also receive the $1,000 stipend for staying with us and not looking elsewhere. So that's exciting. And then Katie, move into 7.02 on the support staff side.
Yep, I'm just going to cover three final proposals on this page. So the work year proposal, 7.02, it adds approximately 7 additional days to support staff schedules for the coming years. And we're really excited about this because it allows support staff to take part in institute days, development days, and other things that they're more part of all staff type events. So we're really thrilled that we were able to come to an agreement on that. The 8.02, the sick leave proposal, is increasing support staff's number of sick days to 15 a year. They currently have 10 days. And so they will not receive them all on day one, but after the first year, full year of employment, they will receive, one full year employment. They'll receive 3 days after the first full year and then 1 additional day thereafter, up to 15 total days per year. And then the health insurance proposal is the same as the one that we already covered under licensed staff. It's just a different section number on the ESP side of the contract. And Angie also highlighted that in MOA 3 for the licensed staff, but I did want to just touch that 8.11, the district retirement program is new for the support side. So we're really excited to be able to offer the retirement incentive to support staff as well for the same 5.25% for 4 years. And finally, for the compensation schedule for support staff, we were able to agree to an $18 starting salary in year 1 of the contract, which will increase to $18.50 in year 2 and $19 in year 3. And this is in parity with our neighboring districts, and we hope will help with some recruitment in our district.
And also, I'd just like to highlight and thank several people, President Plowski and Ann Hall, the amount of time that you have donated to the school district and the staff and the families does not go unnoticed. It was very much appreciated, those late nights, to be able to participate in this process. Mark and Alicia, you did an excellent job leading the UEA. I really want to recognize the fact that our negotiation process is very collaborative, respectful, professional, and it's not in the media. Because not every school district has that, and I think that what we have here in Urbana is very special. And so several administrators, staff members gave up their time. We started meeting in November, and this is a great, fantastic contract for our staff, which in the end impacts our students.
All right, thank you very much, Angie and Katie. Board members, any comments or questions? All right, this is coming before us in a vote very, very soon. Action items are next. First up is 9.1, Education for Employment System 330 Intergovernmental Agreement and Resolution. This was talked about at a prior meeting. Kim.
Good evening. Yes, this evening I'm asking for approval of the EFE intergovernmental agreement that has been revised. We have been a member with EFE since 1986, and this agreement has not been revised since 1998. Being a part of this joint agreement is required in order for our school district to receive access to state and federal career and technical education funds.
All right, is there a motion for approval?
So moved. Second.
Any further comments or discussion? Roll call, please.
Member Hasanadka?
Yes.
Member Hall?
Yes.
Member Orr?
Yes.
Member Ogalski?
Yes.
Member Carter votes yes. Vice President Exum? Yes. President Pulaski?
Yes, and 9.2, approval of our collective bargaining agreement from 2023 through 2026. Is there a motion of approval?
So moved.
Second.
Any further comments, discussion?
I have a question. I was wondering if anybody can make some comments about how this budget, or not budget, but contract may affect the budget of the district, because there was questions about that in an email today, particularly in parallel with the sudden closure of Wiley Elementary.
This contract in year one is about $3.2 million. For this coming fiscal year, I'm hoping to present a balanced budget, partly because our levy is quite a bit larger this coming year due to the new property coming onto the district, as well as the ending of TIF 2. So all of that property that was in the TIF is also coming onto the tax rolls as new property. So we're hoping to be able to pass a balanced budget this year. Then we will spend FY24 planning for FY25's budget, and any of the Wiley-related opening costs as well will be included in that forecasting. So the years 2 and 3 of the contract are also expensive. So around $1.2 to $1.5 million new money each year, and we won't have the new levy to come on with that. That new levy is really just a one-time increase. It's a sustained one-time increase, but we don't get that new money again on top of that. So yes, we will be looking at it'll be an interesting couple of years to get this contract through all 3 years. But next year will be good. I'm excited about next year and bringing a balanced budget is my hope. And then I hope to work with you all to make sure that we sustain the district as we can for years 2 and 3.
Right. Any further comments or questions? Roll call, please.
Member Hasanadka?
Yes.
Member Hall?
Yes.
Member Orr?
Yes.
Member Ogalski?
Yes.
Member Carter votes yes. Vice President Exum? Yes. And President Pulaski?
Yes, we have a contract. Thank you, everybody. There is a call for a special session after this meeting. Superintendent's report.
Yes, so since you guys are still here and you didn't run out, I also want to thank you for all of your many, many nights with us. I also want to thank your 15-member team. We had 15 administrators that included Paul and Ann, as well as our board attorney, Dennis Weedman. I know we pay him to be there, but it is a 2.5-hour drive for him twice a week to come up and spend Wednesday evenings and Thursday evenings with us to get this done. So I know you have thanked your team. I've thanked members as I've seen them. And we are going to be sharing a press release that we've collaboratively worked on. It will be a joint release that we'll share with the media tomorrow, highlighting the positive process and the collaborative, the way in which we work together to do this work. And I'm thrilled that it is a 3-year contract. And as much as we love you, we don't have to do this for 3 more years. So thank you. So superintendent's report, I'm going to jump into that. All right, this is the National Week for recognizing our assistant and associate principals. So it is National Assistant Principals Week this week. As you can see, they're all listed up there, and I know sometimes our assistants don't get as much recognition as the principals do, but everybody here listed is doing phenomenal work and may not get as much recognition, but we appreciate them just as much for everything that they do on a daily basis for students, staff, and families. Yesterday, we had a surprise visit. Monday afternoons is my day that I usually spend at Tiger Academy, and we have been inviting Representative Ammons to come and visit. She wasn't able to make the open house night because they were in session, but they're on an Easter break right now, so she kind of surprise visit popped up on us yesterday at Tiger Academy. Representative Ammons was instrumental in, with the Legislative Black Caucus in funding the Freedom Schools program for this year. We have not been, or received word yet that we will have a year 2. It was supposed to be a 3-year grant, but a couple of months ago we were told that it may only just be a 1 year, so I know she is actively campaigning in the legislative body to get money added back into the Freedom Schools program. So we were excited that she stopped by to visit. I think having students' faces, voices, comments to be able to take back to her colleagues will go a long way with us being able to get additional funding for next year. So thank you, Representative Ammons, for spending time with us yesterday. Our student ambassador, Michael, mentioned the Rising Star community event. This was a collaboration with the City of Champaign, the Champaign County Community Coalition, Parkland College, Unit 4 Schools, a first-time event where we recognized 5th and 8th grade African American students with 90% or higher attendance rate. And they also had to meet or exceed academics expectations. We invited 150 Urbana 5th and 8th grade students, so we were excited to be able to invite that many students out. As you can see, it was a pretty packed house. For both sessions, we had the first group was 5:30 with the 5th graders, the second group was with the 8th graders. And families really appreciated it. Michael was our student speaker, and of course he did a phenomenal job. Dr. Boozer and I both shared a few minutes of our accolades for the young youth, and the deputy manager from City of Champaign, one of the vice presidents from Parkland. It was just a really great night, and just an event that was a lot of work. Kim and her team really took the lead in working with Unit 4 to pull this off, and we're excited to be able to do it for many, many years. We were all wearing our college gear, so I was it looks like I'm kind of dressed down, but we were all kind of wearing our alma mater, or really trying to encourage college and career readiness with the young people, so we all kind of represented, so I'm representing the U of I there. Next is the National Scholastic Art Awards. UHS junior Ellie Ford won a national silver medal for his photography. Ellie's work was part of the Scholastic Art Awards exhibition for the Mid-Central Illinois region. So this is one of the photographs, so super cool. UHS Wind Symphony, we just received this news yesterday, actually. The Urbana High School Wind Symphony has been selected to perform at the University of Illinois Super State Concert Band Festival on Friday, May 5th. So when you think about athletics, this is like state for them. So this is very cool. We've not been invited to perform since 2012. So bands turn in a recording. Your recording is then chosen, and ours was selected to be performed. So 1 of 6. So congratulations to the Wind Symphony, to Mr. Hicks, Ms. Fernsberg, and the whole UHS team for all their work with our band program. Jazz Festival, UMS and UHS jazz bands. We heard this from Ms. Peterick also over the weekend. Went to the Danville Jazz Festival. UMS Jazz Band plays first. UHS Jazz Band first. So we kind of swept the festival. UHS Jazz Combo plays first. Outstanding middle school soloist, Colin Guth, 8th grader at UMS. He was also selected. He was selected from all the middle school band students at the festival. So congratulations to everyone for a fantastic band weekend. Athletics, we often share athletics, so it's nice when we can highlight arts and music and other areas, but we would be remiss if we didn't mention Jackson Gilbert, who is just still racking up medals and records, even during the indoor state championship. So Jackson took home a victory in the 400, setting a new all-time Class 2A record for the state championship. And then we also had our 4x800 indoor performance team, took 7th place, and then the 4x400 relay finished 2nd in the state. So Terrell, Cordero, Jackson, and Kalina. So congratulations also to Julio, Hudson, Cordero again, and Jack. So great job representing the U in Urbana track and field indoor. Outside, the outdoor track season is up and going too, so hopefully we'll be bringing you some great news there as well. 6th grade night is coming up, April 27th at Urbana Middle School. This is a always well-attended event. I know our 5th graders and the 5th grade families, it is their night to get to walk around UMS. They get to meet some teachers. They meet the administrators in the UMS cafetorium from 6 to 7. Also at UMS, Broadway on Vine. So this is the theater production that is usually put on by the Urbana Middle School students, some who are in Splash, some who just joined. That will be happening very soon, April 20th and 22nd. The theater productions at UMS are always very well done. So if you've not been to a Broadway on Vine production yet, you've been missing out. So you need to make sure you join or come and see it. Next, we have been sharing the Facilities Planning Committee interest form survey out pretty widely. So it's been on social media, it's on the website. We've shared it through Skylerts. It was in the superintendent update, so we have people that are signing up, parents, staff, and some community folks. So please share it. I've been sharing it. I shared it out with the PTA executive boards, just to try to get it out. I think Catherine put it in her community newsletter group, so for people who have signed up for that as well. So we're getting some interest out there. So today is election day. Hopefully everyone voted. So as of this evening, as you know, we have 3 new board members who are going to be officially, although they are all running unopposed, they will be official after tonight. But we still have an anticipated board vacancy for Subdistrict 4. So starting tomorrow, now that we have finished the election tonight, we will be putting out the applications to fill the vacant seat. There will be an interview process after the new board is seated. We anticipate that will happen hopefully at our May 2nd meeting, but that all depends on when we get the information from the circuit clerk's office. The person appointed will serve until April 2025. Statement of interest forms will be available to be picked up here at the 211, the old adult ed entrance. Applicants must submit a statement of interest, a resume, and a letter sharing their reasons why they would want to serve on the Urbana School District Board of Education. The application deadline will be announced after the new board is seated. So if you're interested, you don't have to wait until May to come and pick up an application. Those will be available starting tomorrow. So online registration, we're really excited about. Normally we don't do this until summer, but this year we are moving this up a little bit. We are incentivizing families, our returning families, who get registered before the end of the school year. Any family who completes the entire registration process before the last day of school will be automatically entered to win some prizes. So we're going to have weekly drawings during the month of May. We also always have families who struggle or have a hard time with the technology piece of the online registration. So instead of waiting until July to offer some tech help, we have a tech help night planned on May 10th at UMS. And that is basic things sometimes, families that forget their Skyward login, or they're not quite sure about residency and don't know how to go in and complete that process. So there are very much some legitimate tech things that people need help with. And then there's some people who just need someone to be there as a support person to help walk them through the process. All of the elementary schools are going to have Chromebook stations set up at events throughout the end of the year, and really trying to do everything they can to get parents to get in and get registered before we leave at the end of May. Summer programming, I'm not going to read all of these, but we are starting to advertise Camp Invention, which is in July at Leo, Kindergarten Readiness Camp that will be happening at King School, as well as all of our other summer program opportunities. Most of our elementary programming will be housed at King this summer. UMS will have the programs they always have: UMS Summer Math Achievement, UMS Summer Academy. We will have the UHS Summer School, Session 1 and Session 2, as always. We have built in some summer transition programming for the high school and the middle school. So these flyers have been circulating just recently, and we're going to really be doing a push here in the next few weeks to get families signed up for those programs. On April 15th at Urbana Middle School, the LGBTQ plus Family Fun Fest. So if you skip ahead, John. Yep, those other copies were just translated copies. This is a Boneyard Arts Festival celebration day as well. So our LGBTQ plus committee has put together some fun, family fun activities on April 15th from noon to 2. And then next is this, we just got this, so we have to add a little more information here before we share it out with the community tomorrow. But there is a group that has been doing these free prom fits. So dresses, shoes, we've been promoting that. We've done it the last couple of years, so we'll do that again this year. And school day out, so this is a short week for us. Elementary students don't have school for Staff Development Day on Thursday, early dismissal for UMS and UHS, and no school on Friday for a spring holiday. That was a long one, but there was a lot of information.
All right, board reports, anyone have a board report?
I'll just give a little update on the superintendent evaluation process. Thanks again to John and to Tori. We got the direct report surveys out, which was so painless compared to what it was in years past. We're collecting those right now, and I'm going to meet with John to figure out how we collate all of that together with the new Google Forms, so that in the next week I will get all the responses together and anonymously grouped together and sent out to the 7 board members, so that we can then do our own version of the evaluation. And then Dr. Ivory Tatum will be sending, I believe personally, just individually. You don't have to, I think your form automatically gets spit out to the 7 of us without having to. I'll have to verify that with John, though. You're making a face like, maybe she just emails it directly to all 7 of us. But at any rate.
I completed it on Friday.
Okay.
So it was like a Google form, I think, just like everybody else.
So that will also go to, John and I will work on getting that to all 7 of us as well. And then our meeting again, like we said at the last meeting, was April 18th, and we'll get to sit down and talk about it all.
Any other board reports? It's not in the agenda, but there will be a special executive meeting on Monday, April 17th, for the purpose of student discipline. The chair would now entertain a motion to go into closed session for the purpose of setting of a price or sale of lease on property owned by the district, as well as for personnel matters.
So moved.
There will be no, roll call, please.
Yes.
Member Hall?
Yes.
Member Orr?
Yes.
Member Ogalski?
Yes.
Member Carter votes yes. Vice President Exum? Yes. President Pulaski?
Yes, and there will be no action following the executive session. So, thank you.